Indies in Motion is the most entertainingly different variety show on the net. We've got the best host. He's a maker, he's a shaker, and he's coming to you live from Hollywood. Mr. Rick Mizuno.
All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to now put on camera, because I've been flashing him for a while now. I have a very, very talented artist all the way from Mississippi. Well, he lives in L.A., but that's where he started out from. So anyway, I have the very talented and gifted Ed McLaurin.
Rick.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you said it right, brother.
All right, you're looking at me
Thanks
like I'm
me.
crazy.
Nah, man.
Yeah. We've been talking about having brother on the show for a while now, and but like I said, all good things happen in their appointed time. So thank you for being here, brother.
No problem, man. Long time coming.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm going to say the best for last, because this is far from being the end, but I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, brother, I'm going to go to the images box on this camera thingamajig and pull up some of those wonderful, incredible pictures that you sent me. Now, let's talk about your artwork. What type of artist actually are you?
I'm a visual artist, you know, like you saying, from Mississippi. Hard time, Mississippi. Deep in the South.
Down.
Birth of the blues. You know,
down. I'm in the background. Keep going. down. I should have brought my harmonica, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, next time.
We got the guitarists in the area to get.
You've got
get
guitars and people that can really sing and play, right? Yeah, I know how to roll.
Yeah, so you know, just been painting like a lot of artists say. Been painting for a long time.
Yeah.
My whole life. I really have. Since I was little, and I guess I was pretty good at it. And had a lot of people telling me that I was decent at it, so decided I'll keep going with it. Just see where it take me, and it was always something that I enjoyed doing that that gave me comfort. So just kept going with it, man, and it took me a long way.
Well, obviously, because you and I had the opportunity of talking before, long before you came to the radio show, and you were telling me that you grew up in an area that's pretty tough, pretty rough, pretty hard.
Rough.
And that art saved you in a sense.
Yeah, it was, it was in the country. It was, it was deep in the woods. I grew up poverty. Welfare.
Yeah.
The housing in the community wasn't that great, but had a lot of love in my family.
That's most important.
That great Southern, traditional household where. We was in church, every Sunday, every Wednesday night, like soldiers, you know what I mean?
Hallelujah, brother.
Like soldiers for God. So, that definitely, it helped us through all that. And to be honest with you, we didn't even realize, how poor we were and how bad we had it. But, like I said, with the love, it just kept us going.
And that's the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's the most, and that became obviously part of your foundation as who you are as a person, as a man.
Yes, sir.
And then I can see how it's reflected in your artwork, because I just a moment ago I had one image here with the. Now, I see like these giant guitars and the road signs, Highway 6149, like the crossroads.
Right.
What's that all about?
It's actually I'm not sure if you heard of the legend of the birth of the blues, when the devil came down and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's it's a legend, but it's part of Mississippi history up in the Delta, close to Memphis.
Yes.
Actually, not too far. I think it's about maybe 30 minutes from Memphis.
Okay.
But I had a buddy of mine a while ago. I think it was back in 2007, and he was telling me stories about the legend, and then took a trip up, took some pictures of it, and he wanted me to do this piece for him, so he commissioned me. And I just I felt like it was something that represented where I'm from.
Right.
It represented my talent. It represented the history of the state, and I just thought it would be a great project to do. And it was a pretty big piece, and took me about maybe a month to complete, but it was definitely well worth it.
So the image that I have here, unfortunately, I know you can't see what I'm looking at, but so the image that you have here, which is entitled "The Birth of the Blues," did you create this artwork?
I actually didn't create that.
Okay.
It was from some images that we took when I was up in the Delta. If you actually Google, you'll see an image very similar to that.
Right on.
And I wanted to keep it as true and as to the legend and to the history as possible.
Okay.
So I took a realist approach from it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Very good. Now I know that you're a painter, and so what medium do you paint in?
I paint in. Well, I started out with acrylics because I was able to control that a little bit better. Acrylics. They dry a lot faster than oils. So you're not waiting, and it's it's not a lot of different mediums that you have to mix with acrylics.
Okay.
But I also do oils, and a lot of the great masters, you see, a lot of paintings like Da Vinci, Caravaggio,
Right.
even you see some Andy Warhol pieces. They're using oils because oils, it has its own life to it. It's basically like taking clay, slow drying clay, and creating something that's gonna over time it's gonna slowly pretty much dry into something that's going to last a long time.
Right.
So it's a pretty difficult medium to control, but I'm doing a lot of oils now. You'll see in one of the paintings that I gave you, the Deep Within Love.
That's, as a matter of fact, I have that image up right now.
It's in oils.
Cool. So that's in an oil.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's a well, for those of you that aren't watching our video stream, it's a beautiful black married couple. It's a wedding picture, looks like, because they're all in white and a beautiful background. So what gives you your inspiration, my brother?
People, man. Since I was little, I had people asking me to do stuff. And, my mom, she raised me not to be lazy. So whenever people asked me, I would just do it to keep from being lazy. So it started out like, doing bulletin boards for my teachers.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, like, like around Christmas, they have the competition where they put, the images on the door and the best door wins. So I will always be involved in that. And it went to like, in like the, 8th, 9th grade, doing portraits for people. It'd be like, can you draw my dog? Can you draw my cat? Can you draw my sister? Just like, I'm like, all right.
Whatever.
I think the best thing that helped me, throughout my art career is that I rarely, I'm not going to say never, but I rarely turn down a project. So just like, the pieces that you see, they're commissioned pieces.
Right.
So whenever somebody would ask me to do it, I would just do it.
Just ready to do
I'm
it.
like, I guess they have enough confidence and faith in me to want me to draw or paint something for them.
Well, now, you've been doing this for a good man, well, actually all your life, but then as you've gotten older, gotten more proficient, getting better, finding your voice, as it were, in art, your reputation started preceding you, obviously, because you're doing quite a few things. And you sent me a lot of pictures, and that was like just, the tip of the iceberg, as it were, of what you have. And in fact, later in the show, I'm going to show what I call like a collage, which represents a lot of different portraits. But when I go back to the images here, right now I have one that's entitled "Boy and the" is it "Boy on the Fence"? Yeah,
"Boy on the Fence." That's another commission piece that when I was working. Actually, I was working for a Hurricane Katrina program. And working with some of the victims that were there, and hearing a lot of their stories. So, I noticed that a lot of people started asking me to create art, and I actually started posting it in the office. And I was realizing that it was giving like a different mood and a different vibe to the audience, where people, they were starting to, the loved ones that they had, they were starting to cherish them a little bit more because of all the tragedies, that went on in Hurricane Katrina. So, I had like at least 20 commissioned pieces during that time, and I tried my best to do every one because, it meant more to them, than to me. So seeing that, it just makes me want to keep.
It just
working.
Really motivates you.
Yeah, it motivates you. Right?
Yeah, I understand. As an artist myself, I understand, it's like sometimes we take our art for granted because we do it, and we do it well. Let's hope. And we've been doing it for so long. But then you have which is the other side of any art, expression of art, is those that appreciate it, admire it, and then when it speaks to them, and they tell you and they describe all these different things, the old expression that a picture's worth 1,000 words, and perhaps even more so. When they come to you and express all these things that you weren't asking for, they just came because they had their heart, they were moved with it, that the piece moved them, whether it's a musical piece or in your case your artwork. Now it's profound. It is definitely, I believe, a God-given gift. And so wonderful that we that recognize that, take the responsibility, because I believe also with that it comes a responsibility for what we're doing and how we express it, because I think nothing speaks more profoundly to a person, to a people, than the arts. Right. I think that's why it's so important for us to pour money into the arts. But anyway, that's another subject. But like the Boy on the Fence, because this looks more like a drawing.
Yeah,
is that charcoal?
Yeah, it's graphite. I use a little bit of charcoal and the numbered pencils.
Okay.
And that one's I did it just on regular paper.
Did you?
Yeah. I actually did, like I said, it was quite a few of those during that particular period, but it was during a time where I wasn't really that familiar with oils.
Okay.
So I started out just drawing the images.
Cool.
And
so you just experiment.
Experiment, man.
Why not?
It's like try stuff. A lot of it I was teaching myself. you know, I never knew how good I was. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm good, but
No, you're
I
good.
never really
You're good.
thought that I was
I wouldn't have
good.
you on the
It was-
show unless you was good. But anyway.
I was actually, I would be shocked that people would keep asking me to do stuff because I'm like, I guess, you know.
Especially when they pay you, huh, brother?
Right.
It's
So
like-
before I
it's
know
like,
it, I'm
okay.
looking back and I'm like, I
That's all
can't even
good.
remember how many pieces I've done.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, and that's good that you're not hung up on, you know, I'm this, I'm that. You're just
Right.
doing it
I
because
just do it.
you
Yeah, it's
love it.
commissions,
And I
right.
think we're talking, I believe, in the conversation, not only that you do it, but you know that you have to do it,
Yeah, I have to keep it going. It's
even
like,
if
it's-
no one was buying it or looking at it for
absolutely.
yourself.
I
that
got to
you
do
have,
it for myself.
Yeah, first.
Right. It's like a part of me. It's, you know, I had it when I was growing up. I can remember like the first image I saw was like, I'm not sure exactly how old I was, but you know, I was like at church sitting beside my mom, and you know,
All right.
she drew like a Fred Flintstone.
Oh, your mom
little,
did?
little car, right? And when I saw it, it's just like the feeling that I had when I saw that. I was like, wow, because you know, the preacher's right here preaching, and my mom's right here drawing.
Yeah.
And that affected me more than what the preacher was saying.
Well,
just
you
like
know,
this image, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like it was just something that inspired me, and I just realized that, you know, it was a period, you know, back in 2006. I went a few years without creating, and I lost a part of me. I just went to this dark period
Yeah, that
in
happens.
my life, and
Yeah.
I just lost it, and
Yeah.
I just realized I had to get it back.
Amen for that, brother. Well, you know, God uses inspirations and comes to us in many. I mean, you could be in church, a pastor who can be preaching, but I believe that moment that your mother drew that picture, because obviously, I mean, looks what it's done for you. Like you said, you saw that and just something went off in you. That was God speaking through that moment there. You know, it's not to say anything against what was being taught,
Right,
but,
right.
but your purpose. I mean, I'm just gleaning this. I'm just saying this because I don't know. I wasn't there, but it's what comes to me in my mind, in my spirit, that at that moment, that's what you needed to hear, that bit of inspiration. So how old were you, would you say?
Just maybe around 3 or 4.
Oh my goodness! Wow, man, that is
Yeah.
incredible. Now I'm going to put on the screen here the what I call the collage, which is the graphic arts. It has various images of different colors, and it's the different mediums that you use. It looks like you know, drawings with the crayons, graphite, and of course oils. And do you do water?
I do a little bit of watercolor. I do
Okay.
sculptures, you know, with pastel and.
So you're just like all over, and multimedia as well. Well, obviously you're doing that as well, right?
Yeah, I'm deep into multimedia right now. I work in marketing and deep into graphic designing and also a lot of video editing where I'm using a lot of visuals. And, you know, I'm telling a lot of artists now, you know, a lot of people call me from back home and they're like, you know, what can you really do with drawing? What can you really do with painting?
Okay.
And, you know, I try to steer them in a direction that a lot of things is going digital these days.
Right
You know,
on.
to
Yeah,
be
of
honest,
course.
like the average artist just, you know, drawing visuals on the street, he's not going to really make it too far from what I've seen.
Okay.
You know, so you got to get the IT side. You got to get it, you know, a little bit technical. You got to get it into the graphic design, and you got to get into the animation, you know, the flash graphics, you know, the video editing. You just got to get deep into that. So that's where I am right now, and that's like the future of where I'm going. I'm just, you know, because it's all different mediums. It's,
Yes.
You know, it's all visual in the end, no matter
Yeah.
what tools you're using.
Right. What?
It's all visual.
What the
so-
canvas may be.
Yeah,
huh?
you can't limit yourself. You know, if I had any advice to give anybody, is just
Come on with it.
to not limit yourself. You know, if you want to create music, you know, I don't care if you're trapped on the island. You know, get some coconuts and start beating. And start beating. You know.
Hey, I
So-
feel you there, bro. That's how I'm a percussionist, and that's how I got involved. Just tapping on something.
Right. If that's how you got to
You know,
survive,
it was whatever. My mother said, "Stop beating on the table." And then one day they put some drums in front of me. Oh, this is even cooler. But give out your website, because I know I'm encouraging my listeners, my fans, my peeps to check you out, and particularly if you just offer some advice. So I take it that you're encouraging other artists to come, you know, to contact you, and also those that probably want artwork, because everyone in some field, film, you know, movies, music, or whatever would encourage or would like to have an artist like you on hand to help them bring out those various elements of their work. So how can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's easy. I got a website. It's edwardmclaurin.com. I'm on Facebook, The Art of Ed McLaurin. Also on Twitter, Art of Ed McLaurin. You know, you can email me, art@edwardmclaurin.com.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so are you, is your work being featured or displayed at various galleries? Like people want to see your work in, you know, in living color.
Right. Yeah. Right now, I'm actually in a lot of magazines. I'm
Sweet.
I'm in one in New Jersey called What's Good Magazine.
Okay.
Shout out to my homeboy Rashad Prim for setting that up for me. In New Jersey, he got a new online magazine going on, and it's actually, you can get the online and you can get the real version. But that's being circulated throughout the New Jersey, Philadelphia area right now as we speak.
All right.
And also right here in Los Angeles, I'm also in a couple magazines that's being currently circulated in the area.
Okay.
And they also have like different online versions. So I just like to appreciate and thank everybody who believe in what I'm doing and think that I'm at least decent at it to want to put my work.
Oh, absolutely.
In their publications.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we can go to your website. We can see your
all
work.
the
And do
information's
you have
there.
any like art shows or anything like that coming up in the near future?
Yeah, I got an art show coming up this summer in New York in the Art District in the Chelsea area.
You got to check out Wise Girl then when you go back there.
I'm going to get you guys info. We'll stay in touch. And I really enjoyed what I was listening to.
Yeah. Oh, that's groovy, man. That's absolutely, I'm bringing that word back out.
Groovy.
But so can you give us an idea, because your pieces are for sale, I take it?
Yeah, they're for sale.
What kind of price range, or how do you set a price for one?
It's difficult to set a price because like I said, I'm doing like a variety of different mediums right now.
Right.
And since I'm not really doing it for money, because I have a full-time gig, pays the bills really well.
Oh, okay. So
I'm not gonna say I'm not a free artist now. I'm not doing it for free.
And you're certainly not a starving artist.
I definitely will work with you. If you want a commission piece, if you got a project that you need help with, I'll work with you. It's just shoot me an email. That's why I don't have any prices on my website, because it's kind of hard to set prices on certain things. So I would rather talk to you first, see what's in your head. So you like to get that personal connection. I like to get that connection and see what's going on. What's in your head. What kind of visual you want to end up with, and maybe even to get to know the person a little bit more to see what kind of budget they're working with.
All right. So one, you have artwork that's for sale, and two, if someone wants to commission you for a piece, whether it's large, small, say for instance a CD cover, EP cover, whatever, whatever they may do, a new logo for Indies in Motion.
I have done quite a few logos, actually, some new logos.
I always like to sneak that stuff in there because that's how we do things. You know what, brother? We're like almost out of time, but I'm really appreciating you being here, and bless where you come from, brother. Well, what's most important is where you're going, and obviously you're going to do some cool things and interesting things and loving things, and I'm digging that you're here in studio with us along with my other guests. So it's like really cool, brother, having you here.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a blessing. Really appreciate it.
All right. So you said in the summer you're going to New York, but what about us here in L.A., the West Coast? I mean, give some love over here in the West Coast.
Yeah, I've given the West Coast a lot of love, and I'm gonna keep giving the West Coast love. This is home for me now. So
all right.
You saw me at the Raw Natural Born Artist show, and I'm still working with them on a lot of events, and a lot of other organizations here in LA. We got some shows coming up. You got the Downtown LA Art Walk. Second Thursday every month. Okay. So the Mez Gallery. They want me to have a show.
That's what I'm talking about,
Not sure the exact month, but as soon as I know, I'll put it on my website.
Put it on your website. So again, that website is
EdwardMcLaurin.com.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, brother, I want to thank you for being in studio with me, and also want to thank Wise Girl, Abby, and Chris for being here. I'm just appreciating the vibe, the love, and the connectivity, the synergy we do here on this show. It's that's what it's all about. Bringing all the various artists together and talking and sharing and helping one another and encouraging, because we're all going to the top together. That's what I say. So until next time, I must say peace, love, and Indies in Motion. Ciao.
We are wrapping up another great show here on Indies in Motion. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Make sure you find us on Facebook. Look for us on Twitter. Would you like some airplay and interview consideration? Well, then go to our website, www.indiesinmotion.com. We'll catch you next time.